In this video, we're just going to take a look at a few problems that might be like, oh, that one kind of trips me up, right? And then that way you can just sort of see me think through those. So here's some examples, and then you're going to use the rest of this page to finish out the practice problems. So here's one that seems simple, but it's just, I don't know, it's got some potential to trip you up. What about this? What would you do with this? Okay, so when I see this negative exponent, I right away know, oh, that means I'm gonna flip it. So right away, I would just say, okay, well, this is the same as this to the second power, right? And what does this mean? This means 3 over 2 times 3 over 2. So this would become 9 over 4. Okay, so notice like we've been working with super complicated ones, lots of variables, right? Sometimes when it gets simple and we're just working with numbers, sometimes that actually trips us up more. So here's another one that's kind of like that. That's like actually really simple, but then it's like it tends to maybe trip us up a little bit. Here's 5 to the 0 times 4 to the negative 2. What does this equal? Okay, well, 5 to the 0 equals 1, right? Anything to the 0 power equals 1. So this is 1 times. Now 4 to the negative second, that's 1 over 4 to the second, right? Now, if I multiply something times 1, that doesn't change it, right? 5 times 1 is just 5. 10 times 1 is just 10. A billion times 1 is just a billion. So the multiplying by 1 is actually just like I can kind of cancel that. So I'm going to simplify this. 4 to the second is 16, so this would be 1 over 16. Okay, so another one that you're like, oh, how do I tackle this? And you just tackle it kind of piece by piece using what you know. Okay, now the other kind of complication you might get is something totally different, where it's not simple and it's actually just like super long. So here's like just a super long, annoying problem. And you just kind of got to go piece by piece. Okay, now look, on the top of all of this, I'm going to put a negative exponent on it. So what do I do first here? You can actually choose. You could simplify inside first, okay, and just keep this. You could also flip it first, right, because of the negative. What I'm going to do, I'm going to simplify on the inside first. So I'm going to just totally ignore this. Okay, watch. I'm going to totally ignore it. I'm going to put it right here, and I'm going to just leave it there, and I'm going to simplify on the inside first. And watch what I'm going to do when I simplify. Because this is like, there's a lot here. So I'm not going to do anything except tackle these 3 negative exponents. That's the only thing I'm going to do right now. So watch, I'm going to leave everything else as it is. Notice I'm just copying these down. Now, I'm going to just move everything. So this y to the 4th, I'm moving it to the top because it's negative, so it moves up to the other side of the fraction. This z to the negative 2nd, I'm going to move it to the bottom because it's negative, so it's moving to the other side of the fraction. Same with this z to the 6th. So all I did there was just move the negative exponents because that's a lot. That's a lot for me to hold in my head and do something else. So now I'm going to again leave this negative exponent here, and I'm going to start simplifying a little bit. So here's what I notice. There's a 3 and a 6, right? So this 6 is like the same as 3 times 2. So that kind of cancels out this 3. I'm going to leaves me with a 2 on the bottom. How about the x's? There's 5 x's on top and 2 on the bottom. So if I were to write out 5 x's and 2 x's, 2 would cancel. I'd be left with 3 x's on the top. Let's see, how about the y's? Okay, there's 3 y's on the top and 4 more y's on the top. So there's a total of 7 y's on the top. Okay, and then the z's, there's 6 on the top and 2 on the bottom. So if I were to write out 6 and 2, I would cancel 2, and I'd be left with 4 z's on the top. Okay, so I'm almost there, right? I'm going to come all the way down here. Now, what I notice is this is negative. So I'm going to take the whole thing. I'm going to make this exponent positive, and I'm going to flip it over, right? Because this is negative. So I'm going to put the 2 on the top, and the x to the 3rd, y to the 7th, z to the 4th on the bottom. And now, finally, I'm ready for my last step. I'm going to square it, right? So this whole thing is multiplied by itself. So 2 times 2 is 4. And this is 3 x's and then another 3 x's. So that's x to the 6th. 7 y's and another 7 y's. That's y to the 14th. And z to the 4th times and another z to the 4th. That's z to the 8th. So here is my answer. Okay, and notice what I did is I just decided I was just going to be willing to take it step by step and just do one step at a time. If you try to do more than one step, that's where you're going to get confused and you're going to make it harder for yourself. Okay, so now you just have a few more problems, so go ahead and set up problems 43 through 50 here. Give yourself some space for each, right? And you're going to go all the way to 50. I'll let you number it as you work. That way you don't run out of space for any particular problem.